Welcome, Warrior. I know it said Warriors Lunch Live. In full disclosure, I've already eaten because I decided, you know what, I think it'd be kind of rude if I sat here and ate my lunch while I'm trying to talk to you. So please grab your coffee, settle in, get your lunch box, your brown paper bag, whatever it is, sit down, join the Warriors for a little while. Let's go over some very important issues. But before we do all that, please make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Please make sure you hit the like button. Edie is our number one warrior with reminding everybody, and let's jump right in. But please, can you hear me? Let's make sure we get all the tech things out of the way first, because you know how it is. Once in a while, you can't hear me, you can't see me. So let's get that out of the way. There's Fred, 5x5. That's good enough for me. Fred starts off the day in a wonderful, generous capacity. Thank you, Fred, for gifting 10 Lynn's Warriors memberships. You know what I always say about all of that. Much needed, much appreciated. Number one thing we can do at the Warriors is spread the messaging. It is only noon here in New York City. I can't tell you, it's been going on since about 2 a.m. in the morning. Lionel Nation says loud and clear. Walter Will, 5x5. Gracie Loves George is here. Edie is here. The whole gang. Okay, now let's get to it. Let me tell you a couple of things before I get derailed on what I was going to talk about. Listen, we have an urgent need. As you are aware, we have a government shutdown. Now, you might say, what does this have to do with Lynn's Warriors? I'll tell you what it has to do with Lynn's Warriors. If we have this shutdown, which will be at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time tonight, I made a couple of notes because I am forever with legal pads, notepads, notes on my phone. The minute I think of something, I've got to put it somewhere so I don't forget it because there's so much going on. But I want to just share with you why I think this, not why I think, why I know this shutdown. I want you to weigh in because this shutdown affects each and every one of us. This is so ridiculous right now because we have so much going on in our country, so much going on around the world. The last thing we need is a government shutdown. I know they have happened at other times. The longest shutdown was, I believe, 2018, 35 days. And this, we hope we're not even going to get there. But let me just tell you why this affects Lynn's Warriors, because you know what our mission is: ending human slavery, exploitation, providing education, advocacy, and action. Action, because all of these things tie into vulnerability. For instance, okay, victim services are at risk. Federal funding for shelters, victim services, anti-trafficking programs could be delayed or frozen. Healthcare. There seems to be this, democratic, and I'm trying to be very bipartisan here, okay? I am talking about what affects our kids, our families, right? And it's hard to try to balance, to be honest with you, balance that. But let's just say what I've heard all morning from the Democratic Party is, well, we want health care for all Americans. Now, what the Republicans are saying, and I'm making this very simplistic because obviously it's complex, it involves a lot of other topics. The Republicans are saying, well, we do not want health care for illegal aliens, for people who have come to our country illegally. Now, what I'm going to say about that is we at the Warriors, we go into communities, we feed them, we bring them clothes, we bring them toys for their children. These are Americans, vulnerable Americans. You might call them poor. Well, I don't like to call them poor Americans because they wouldn't view themselves like this. And I'll tell you why. The people we deal with at the Warriors, and when I started doing this, what a lesson. To go into these communities, and they have faith, they have spirit, they are so appreciative and well-mannered. They will call me Miss Lynn. And these are our American brothers and sisters and children. And they have to fight to put food on the table. They have to fight to keep their children, a lot of them, out of the gangs, their grandchildren. We have a lot of grandmas keeping raising the grandchildren and also keeping them on the straight and narrow, so to speak. And these people, Americans born here, trying to do right, are being overlooked. And this has been going, this is nothing new. It's been going on for a long time. You know it and I know it. It's in your community somewhere. Yes, I'm in New York City. Maybe it's amplified where I am, but it's around you. The poverty is around us, all around us in the United States. You can be, this, you can be in a beautiful suburban neighborhood and you just drive over the train tracks or the other side of town and it looks like a war zone. I mean, I grew up in New Jersey. That was a lot of the places in New Jersey. You're in a nice little bubble. You go over one avenue and you're in not such a nice bubble. And I keep thinking about the stats that are out there that 1 in 5 American children go to bed hungry. Really, it's closer to 1 in 4. The stats say 1 in 5. I don't care if one child goes to bed hungry. We have to be concerned about America first. What happened to that? So we don't need any more funding cut from any services that help people. If it's, a safe house, if it's a food bank, anything like that, then law enforcement. Right now, you see what's going on in our country. It's simmering, it's bubbling underneath this lawlessness. And the administration and different, New York City, they're trying to really do something about the crime, right? But federal agencies that we depend on, Department of Homeland Security, FBI, Department of Justice, they'll face staff furloughs and reduced operational capacity. Therefore, equals more crime, because once the criminals know they can get away with something, they full on push in. It's funny because this morning I heard my husband speaking from the other room, and he was right. He said something about during COVID. I paraphrased a little bit, but I heard something like this. It was during that COVID period, people were just coming in New York City and just, I've seen them they used to have suitcases. I'm talking large suitcases, definitely backpacks, would walk into CVS, would walk into Walgreens, would just walk in and swipe everything they wanted, and nobody stopped them, and then they would walk out. And workers would say, why should I get involved? I'm not going to get hurt. Company has insurance, all kinds of things. And these criminals, because you steal, you're a criminal. I'm sorry. I'm going back to, I keep thinking of these communities we serve at the Warriors. And I just have to throw in there, God bless my husband who helps me with all of this. He's very humble. He'll never say who drives me, who brings me, who helps me with all of this. We don't put pictures all over the internet. We don't need people seeing. I believe truly when you're doing good, you don't advertise every move when you're doing it. You do it from heart. You do it from love. You do it for other people. That is true charity. But anyway, I digress there for a second. Now we have to face the consequences of, I can't stand going to any store when you have to ring bells to get a tube of toothpaste. And on top of it, nobody's answering my bell. And then I've had this happen a lot now. A woman will slowly walk over and be like, I heard you, like annoyed. And I really think it's because I'm white and blonde and people hold this against me. I'm beginning to see this. Am I allowed to say that? Well, I'm saying it anyway. So we need to get a handle on this crime. We need all of this in place. And then we have policy and legislative, what shall I say, paralysis. Right now, we are working very hard on raising awareness for the Kids Online Safety Act, KOSA, okay? This is bipartisan legislation. What do we always tell you at the Warriors? Anything to do with children and families, it does not belong to a political party. It belongs to, it's, human rights abuses. I thought everybody could get on board, call me wacky, with these issues. Apparently not. But KOSA right now, KOSA, Kids Online Safety Act, needs in Congress to be brought to a vote. Is it a perfect piece of legislation? We are nothing if we're not truthful at the Warriors. And we always give you the truth and facts. It's not perfect, but it's the best thing we have as far as holding big tech accountable. We sent out this morning a Warriors newsletter all about KOSA, where you can click on the links. You can see exactly what it is. You can see who is sponsoring it, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Senator Richard Blumenthal. You can see who's talking about what. And this is what you need to do. If you want to be a warrior, if you want to survive, and I'm not kidding, in 2025 in America, you got to start doing something. The days of doing zero are over, Warriors. I am telling you. So sign up for that newsletter. Go to linswarriors.org, scroll down on the right side, e-newsletter, tap on it. Because those who, I send it out twice. For those, you'll have a chance. It will go out again tomorrow morning. It will teach you. And I need everybody on board with this because it's the best thing we have right now, again, to hold big tech accountable. please sign up for the newsletter. Please educate yourselves. Please, when I put the call to action out there, say, I'm adding my name, I'm adding my zip code. We need numbers. Congress right now is holding it up. Now, on top of a government shutdown, that's where the word paralysis comes in, urgent bills. And this is an urgent bill, Kids Online Safety Act. It is slowing everything down, and it's slow enough in that Washington, believe you me, because Congress is so consumed. It's all they're talking about, budget battles. If I were to try to call there today, or I would be there visiting offices, everybody would put me out. They'd say it's about the shutdown, it's about the budget. So we understand how this works. But now it's even further. We're going into October tomorrow. COSA. It is tough enough. Nobody ever thought we'd have to fight this hard for child protection. And just today, I saw a story coming out of Argentina. Now, I want to know this because you know and I know there is censorship. No way around it, right? Listen, I see stories online and I'm like, why are they allowed to talk about that? And that's there, different words, accusing people of things without fact. And it's there. And then why sometimes if I put a story that I'm just reposting, it could be from, which happened to me one time, Washington Post. I'm reposting it to share. I got a community guidelines. I didn't even write this story. I'm reposting it. I didn't change any words. I didn't. So we know there's censorship. That's taking it lightly, what I just explained. But what I don't understand is when I see an article this morning from Argentina, where two cousins, 15 and 20, were, let me see, because we have algorithms here, how I'll say this, were unalived, tortured. It was streamed on reportedly Instagram, which is Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, right? Threads, Messenger, that's all Meta, Mark Zuckerberg. Yet Instagram's denying it, Meta's denying it. People are saying it was on there. Now, why wasn't content, vile, horrible content, censored? Where are these safety teams? Yes, we're talking about Meta right now, but it goes for Apple. It goes for all of them. Where are the safety teams? Because there's no transparency. Who's watching? How could something be up there for, I think it was 38 minutes and not be taken down? And all the other things we've seen recently, even Charlie Kirk, all of these things. And there's no censorship on a lot of that. I don't like the word censorship at all, but I do think we have children. And this is where COSA, Kids Online Safety Act, comes in and why it's so urgent. We can't be having these shutdowns and these little fights going on all the time in Washington when we have a national crisis, and that is called our children and our families. So child safety reform always gets shoved aside pretty much anyway, right? Anything to do, it's tough. Political fights always dominate. So right now, COSA, nothing's going to happen today. We'll see where this goes at 12:01 a.m., which will be Wednesday morning. That'll be tonight, but it'll be Wednesday morning. Could this be another 35, 38 days like the last one? We'll see. But that will put a real dent because then we'll be into November if it goes, right? It seems like everybody's digging their heels in. Again, I say we are ignoring what happened to America First, that we want to give away to all these people. And sure, at the Warriors, we want to help all good people, but we want to help America first, in our own communities first. That's just the way it goes, right? So what we care about doesn't stop. So we can have government shutdowns and everybody infighting. It doesn't stop. Listen, the grooming doesn't stop. The predation doesn't stop. The trafficking, remember, at the Warriors, we use the word enslavement. We believe that is a much more descriptive word of human trafficking. I am very convinced the public hear human trafficking. It kind of goes in one ear, out the other. Number one. Number two, it's ugly. They don't want to deal with it, so it goes in one ear, out the other. Number three, they don't really understand because it's so many issues around trafficking, grooming, exploitation. And because society has normalized sexuality, exploitation, again, I think it goes in one ear out the other. But when I use the word enslavement, slavery, and I say we have more slavery today, 2025, than any other time in the United States, people tend to look, sit up, take notice. So I'm going to do anything that's appropriate where people will sit up and take notice. But none of that stops under a government shutdown. So we continue to fight no matter what to educate, advocate, mobilize. So our call to you, because we cannot say we're tired. We cannot say we're overwhelmed. Um, we cannot stop doing what we're doing, okay? You must stay vigilant. And if that means just with yourself, your family, in your own home, your community, so be it. That is good enough. Don't assume, though, business as usual, because um, protections are in place during a shutdown. As far as the Warriors goes, you can always reach out to Lynn at linswarriors.org if I can help you with direction or give you a list of resources. We do that. We go around the clock. And you have to be loud because predators and people that don't agree with you, they're counting on, they'll overshout you, they'll scare you, and you'll back off. And that's what they count on. That's what the predators count on, the traffickers count on, right? The criminals, that you'll be scared and you'll be overwhelmed because they're so loud and in your face that you'll back off. And you can't back off when it comes anything with children. And right now we have to start preaching KOSA, 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 and not be sidelined by any of these political, I dare say games. I'll say games today, right? That's the way I'm looking at everything today. We have real problems going on here with feeding Americans, with educating our children, with keeping our families together, with keeping people safe in communities, in putting those traffickers, criminals, predators in their places. I mean, this is a national security threat because the whole trafficking, slavery business that's going on right now, that we talk about nonstop here in the Warriors, is really organized crime. It's not, as an analogy, a mom and pop type thing, right? A trafficker here, a trafficker there. Sure, I'm not saying that doesn't go on, but I'm saying it's on a level that has never been seen before because law enforcement shares this with me. It is organized crime, and that is a national security threat. And because as I'm sitting here talking to you for, let's see, 17, almost 18 minutes now, easily, just in New York City, 10 children have been exploited in some fashion. Why are we allowing this? Why aren't we shutting down, marching in the streets and shutting down governments over all this kind of thing? That we demand action from our elected officials. So I want all of you to stand with the Warriors. But when things grind to a halt, like the government may be at 12:01 tonight, this morning, actually, you will stay with us and we keep marching forward and we keep getting louder and we keep talking about it. And we have to talk about these issues. So what are you going to do? You can share this video on your platforms. You can go to Lynn's, I named it everything as Lynn's Warriors because I want you all to be one of my warriors and be with me and work and honor our hashtag community creates change and spread it on your platforms. Go to our X account, go to our Facebook, go to our Instagram, because it just takes one person to see something or hear something or to know they're not alone, to feel like they're in a community, to create change. Community creates change. So we have to really keep at it because families are struggling. All morning I'm hearing about the electric bills. And, I didn't even realize, I knew with all of the AI, the artificial intelligence, which I'm just diving in there. And it's really the one thing that I keep thinking is the only thing we've got to be focused on right now because it is so big. It is so terrifying. It is so all consuming. I bet a year from now, we, maybe sooner, but I'm going to say a year, we'll look at something, read something. We will not know, is this real? Is this not real? Of course, it's happening right now. Is this person real? Is this person not real? we've already had an influx in bots. For instance, celebrities, influencers. I can't say that word celebrity too much anymore because, I still come from the day of when I thought we really had celebrities, like them or not, the Marilyn Monroes, the Elizabeth Taylors, Robert Redford, like those we thought of as celebrities, right? And because they didn't live their lives online because we didn't have it. It was more mysterious. And when we did see them, there was more kind of worship. That was a whole nother thing. We don't have any of that anymore. Because as another thing I stole from my husband, but when it's good, it's good. Keep it in the family. When a young woman's unwrapping a curling iron and gets a million hits, and I'm putting out the trafficking persons report, and getting 3 hits, there's something wrong with society, that we're not putting the focus on the right things. So Susie Q says, thank you, Mrs. L. Thank you, Susie Q, for being here, and all of you for being here. So what we have to do is we have to just keep at what we're keeping at and try. And I know it's hard because I'm going to admit today, there's so much coming at me, phone calls, messages, things to amplify, things to keep talking about. We can't not talk about Kids Online Safety Act. We have to be ready to roll when the government is ready to go. We do not know right now, and we're gearing up, why this has not been put to a vote already, because it passed 91-3 in the Senate last July. We thought automatically this would be a no-brainer for going right in for our next vote to sign it into law. And I'm leaving out a lot of parts because I'm trying to make it simple so I don't bore you. But there's no reason. There is no reason when this is the only piece of legislation that will help us right now. Hold big tech. Big tech must be held responsible. Why are they allowed to operate? When I pointed out this horrible story I read about the 2 cousins, and it was another young woman as well, live streamed. And then I also see the story today about the Tate brothers. Are you familiar with them? Horrible things. They were called, I don't know what their name, male influencer, toxic culture for males, getting women, flying them over not only state lines, across different countries, and getting them to spend monies, all kinds of, getting men to sign up for memberships and all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, I don't know. They ended up Romania, flown in on a United States government airplane, I believe, a couple of months back. Something happened there. Brought to Florida. I don't know. No talk about them at all. And all of a sudden I wake up and see a story. The one will not be held responsible for his abuses towards 4 women. End of story, right? We're still waiting. I'm still waiting for the Epstein story as we go into sentencing in 2 days for Dirty Diddy, as I like to call him. Yeah, he is a dirty Diddy, but he's been in jail for going on 13 months tomorrow. I'm in no way promoting him, suggesting anything about him other than he's a horrible person, bad person, a lot of bad things about him. I wish he was held, his charge of sex trafficking, but he wasn't. All this on Dirty Diddy, but Jeffrey Epstein, bye-bye. It's a hoax. Nothing to see here. Let's equal it out a little bit. Why wasn't all of that pressure? We cannot give up on that. And I'll tell you why. Because we have victims. We have survivors. Can you imagine all those who never came forward? So we cannot lose ground in our communities. What do I always tell you? It's twofold. Community creates change. We work at our community level. If that's right in your own home, it can be yourself, your child, your grandchild. That's what you do. But we at the Warriors will fight for you in Washington for legislation, putting our mouth, our face in front of everybody for what's right for all of us. We bear the burden to do that for you because this is not right. They're shutting down a whole government with one of the sticking points, healthcare for all. Yes, healthcare for all Americans. Okay? So we've got that going on. But I was going to start today with telling you about, I don't want to lose sight also of, really we have to get back to, apparently there's a show on Netflix. I never even heard of it. Canceled in 2022, but apparently they're running the reruns, if that's what we call it these days, the reruns of this show. And I'm not going to give it too much of credit. I don't even want to name it, but it's a children's cartoon. It's geared for ages 7 plus, where it's two kids who have a pug dog. So I'll let you do a little homework, a little research, go on Netflix, look for a kid's cartoon, two kids with a pug dog animation. You'll find it. But apparently, this cartoon, 7 plus, remember the ages, um, then eventually they're kids, they're with their pug dog, they're having adventures. And by the time the series goes off the air, they have transitioned into the opposite sex and they're wearing opposite sex clothes. Now, I'm going to be looking at it myself. I really don't like to talk about things until I've seen it. This thing must have been so far underground for me never to hear about it or have seen it. But now all of a sudden it's coming to light. Well, where's everybody been? It was canceled in 2022. Um, but now for some reason it's back. They're pushing it out. So don't think any of these issues have gone away. People are very patient, very, very patient. And that is my concern. You may think things, despite government shutdowns, despite everything we're facing, um, everything's good right now, right? If you're in favor of the current administration. And that's fine to think that way because we want to be positive warriors. But remember, it's always about the next gig. That's what we say in showbiz. What's going to happen after President Trump leaves? Who's going to be there? And as an example, say it's just, I don't know, J.D. Vance. Okay. Who's going to be there after him? All those years down the road, I shudder to think about because these people are very patient. Whoever these people are, use your imaginations. Creating chaos, wreaking havoc on families, destroying the minds of our children. I mean, our schools used to be a place of, pretty much we thought of them as neutral learning, correct? Now they're full of political ideologies. So we have a lot of work to do. I want to get to what I wanted to talk about. 27 minutes in, but thank you, Leslie, for telling me I look lovely today. That goes a long way in a day like today. Thank you very much. But I wanted to talk about, to remind everybody about 5 cultural things surrounding our children. And I'll go through them briefly because I hope you're all eating your lunch or breakfast or dinner, wherever you may be. But, there are 5 things I was focused on. I was doing a little writing this morning, and that would be social media algorithms, music and entertainment, gaming platforms, fashion and advertising, classroom tech, and AI. So, social media. You all know about that. KOSA, K-O-S-A, Kids Online Safety Act. When you get the call, you will sign on to help. So we can bring those numbers. I will march them into Congress, put them on the table in front of Mike Johnson. Here you go. Here's $1 million. Here you go. Here's 500,000 signatures. We demand. Realistically, though, big tech right now until Section 230, I know it's boring, but you got to hear it because you got to understand why this is all happening. Designated in 1996, basically the birth of the internet, that Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act said we had 2 platforms at the time. Now we have thousands of games and apps and platforms that, just think back to 1996, if you're old enough. We didn't have gaming and apps and this and that. We had none of this. That Section 230 said, you know what? You're a billboard, you're a newsstand. You can't be held responsible for third-party content. I get it. I get it. But this is almost 30 years later. It's never been amended. There is a demand right now, Senator Josh Hawley's working on it, to sunset Section 230. Because until that is done, harmful content will continue and escalate on all the platforms. There is no accountability. Why should any of these platforms take any responsibility? Because remember, it is about eyeballs. It is about money, money, money. It is about advertisers. It is about addicting your children who will be there for a lifetime as a consumer. Your child is the product, right? Excuse me, I'm getting all worked up here talking about this. So we have to work hard on making sure we support Senator Josh Hawley when the time comes, if we put out a call to action to sunset Section 230. Until then, aren't you seeing how everything in the last few months is just getting worse and more horrible online? And people, it's funny because people have been living online, but now I'm really seeing it. This fear of missing out is true. They're living their lives online. Every family milestone, celebration, every medical appointment, every meal, every my child did this. Reminder, no pictures of children should be on the internet. Once there forever. Despite people telling me, well, I deleted it. Once it's there forever. And if they capture that image, and I'm sure they do, once they see these criminals, a picture of a child, they take that, they put it on a body, and they create CSAM, child sexual abuse material. Kiddie porn, it used to be called, child porn. That's too cutesy. The descriptive is child sexual abuse material on all these platforms. So they're allowed to get away with it. They're taking your child's face, putting it in another body, uploading to porn sites, and making money from your child. Be there forever. Can you imagine when your child turns 30, 40, somebody says, well, was this you as a child? Or they figure out a family member or something? So we're living in this world right now. You have to put your own guardrails up. So we know the algorithms are designed. There are plenty of studies to just keep the kids online, to keep everybody online, to give everybody, I like to call it the swipe culture, swiping, next, right? Addiction. And we have plenty of cases of kids who have harmed themselves, the ultimate harm. Parents took away phones. They couldn't live without. That's what they did. They could not live without the phone. So what do we suggest? You know what we suggest. Getting off the phone, start with 15 minutes a day, and that means the whole family. You've got to start taking these moves because I'm seeing things speed up so fast, I can barely keep up with it. And there seems to be no stop in front of us. So you know about the internet. Then we've got music and entertainment. We recently had this Bad Bunny announced for the NFL halftime show coming up. Bad Bunny is bad. I will not use the word bunny because bunny I always think of as cute little bunnies, and he's nothing but cute. He's anti-American. He is anti-law enforcement. He sings basically in Spanish. He has dirty sexual dance routines and words to his songs. And this is what the NFL is putting in for their halftime show. So I have nothing much to say about that, but that is an example overall of music and entertainment combined. Very sexualized, pushing it at our kids, right? Pushing it. So their brains, their little brains and teen brains, just it becomes so normalized. And kids replicate, right? A boy might say, wow, this guy can get in the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm going to be like Bad Bunny. I'm going to curse like that, make music like that, and I'm going to do those kind of things to girls. And that's what kids do. This is what our kids are learning. So Bad Bunny is my analogy for the entertainment and music world in a bubble combined. Then we have gaming platforms. We know mostly males are on them, and our boys and teens where they have been being told about all this toxic culture, toxic masculinity. A lot of these gamers fall into these groups and things like that. We've seen what's gone on with the crime lately. A lot of these kids connected through the internet, connected to gaming. They're violent, they're vicious, military-esque. Is that the word? Military. Well, you know what I'm saying. So we've got to understand what these games are and gaming and also the addiction to that. And also understand everybody thinks pretty much when I talk to them, gaming is okay. Remember, wherever the kids are, when I say kids, I mean like 30 and under, but legally 18 and under, right? Wherever the kids are, so are the predators. They're all over the gaming sites for boys. Boys right now are bringing in 3 times the amount of money as girls. The demand is for boys. The demand is for 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old boys. Let that sink in. These are horrible facts. I don't like to share them with you, but we have to be realistic here. Susie says they will see the TVs are off on the Nielsen ratings if people can remember to do that. Don't let your little ones watch the halftime show. Well, that's just it. Will people, because remember that NFL, right, sports rule, right? Are they going to now, instead of complaining, put their money where their mouth is? Are they, A, not going to watch it? That probably won't happen because people love their football in America. Or are they going to turn off the halftime show? Are they going to use their platforms to speak out appropriately? This is unacceptable for our family to watch. And We'll see. I think people are anesthetized. They're so used to all of this. They just leave it on. Don't people halftime go and get the snacks and start eating and all? But it's about kids. Kids seeing this stuff and kids thinking, oh, it's on the TV in my family room. So mom and dad are watching it. It's okay. We're having fun today watching football. And then they see that. So, yes, it's up to all of us to take action. Let me see if I missed anything. I'm talking away here. Leslie says, I agree with you, but he has generated $700 million in Puerto Rico to boost their economy in the past 2.5 months. Leslie, I don't care. I really don't care. A very harsh statement coming from me. I don't care. Sex sells, 700 million. First of all, I don't ever believe any stats. I know from working in business how you can elevate stats, how you can get out there in front of stories with PR, how you can just lie and be full of propaganda and just start saying, this person, and I'm not saying this happened here, I'm just saying in general, this person, here's an example, has 500 million followers. And I have seen from newsrooms in New York City, I thought, again, wacky me, they all do research, they know about the news, working in newsrooms, but I've seen where if one outlet posts a story, all the other outlets will just follow suit and post the same thing without vetting, without researching to understand, is this true? They're just catching up and they're doing it, we're going to do it. So as far as boosting their economy, I don't care. I don't care. With this kind of content, I don't even know what to say about that. I disagree with, I don't care. Let's find other ways to help Puerto Rico boost their economy than this guy who wouldn't canceled many shows here, anti-law enforcement, the whole thing. I'm going to move on. I want to skip that one. But we know, Susie Q, we are told that by 2040, the United States will be a Spanish-speaking country. That will be the number one language. I dare say it'll come before 2040. That's 15 years from now. Because when I walk around the streets in New York, what is the number one language I hear? And this is in all the different neighborhoods. It's not in one neighborhood. I hear Spanish, right? So we have that going on. But let's get back to, we talked a little about gaming, dangerous. Predators are on there. Fashion and advertising. We've seen with Vogue magazine, how they promote these agendas, these ideologies. I think they all have got, they get one page a day, like a one pager, and they all follow suit with all the same bullet points. We saw that with a lot of news outlets, right? But I think it's the same for entertainment, for music, for advertising, and for fashion. And I say all this because although we had a shift in the administration and things sort of calmed down, do not take your eye off the ball for a minute. These people are very patient. They're not going away. I dare say they will double down. They're sitting in the background, just kind of simmering. And I'm beginning to see things, well, even the K through 12 agendas for New Jersey public schools, they're full in. Starting in kindergarten, talking about days in kindergarten. When again, I steal this from my husband. I don't think he minds though. A child doesn't know their favorite color. Planting that seed. The child by 4th, 5th grade thinks this is normal. The child by 6th grade wants to become the opposite sex. So that whole the agendas are still there. I've seen it in people thought private schools were better, Catholic schools were better, charter schools were better. And you know what? A lot of them are doing these same agendas. Keep your eye on the ball, everybody. And the fifth thing I want to talk about is, AI, artificial intelligence. We have to focus on that right now. What are we going to do? You're going to take charge in your own home, right? And if you have the wherewithal, you're going to take charge in your community. That means talking to friends and neighbors. That means getting involved at your school, finding out what's going on there. That means, block roundtables, community roundtables, anywhere you can talk about it. If you help one person or family, you have done your jobs, everybody. Like, that's the way you have to look at things. But the number one thing you have to do is protect your child. Protect your child, because it is going, I'm going to say this again like a broken record, it is going so fast. I don't know where this is going to end up. I just know a year ago we weren't talking about chatbots, AI chatbots, and now We talk about it a lot. We just had a week and a half ago on Capitol Hill, parents testifying how chatbots, which are digital friends, think of a chatbot, a digital friend, create it, how a child can use a free program, Character AI, create that digital friend in any way they want them to look, to sound, to accept how they are. And they get in these relationships, right? Fast forward, the chatbot then knows you, the digital friend. That chatbot can then start manipulating the vulnerable brains. If a child says, a teen, "Ugh, I'm so sick of my mother," these are cases. The chatbot responds, "Well, you could do something about that." The child may say, "Okay, what can I do about that?" The chatbot's responding now with harmful things. Harmful. Again, why are we allowing all this? It's just been dumped on us and our children, but we have to do everything in our power to remain a warrior and to remain steadfast, and we're going to do whatever we can do to keep all this at bay, right? Because we live in a digital world, it's not going away. So we got to deal with what we have. We can't just close our eyes and pretend it's not happening. But the number one thing you can do, as hard as you might think it is, especially with teenagers, is you must talk to your children. You must be there for them. You must bite your tongue. You must make sure they know no matter what they do, anything stupid, anything, you are there for them. You understand. You may not like it. You will help them. You will support them. You must keep handy your resources. Your child disappears. What do? 1-800 the lost. You have to have these numbers tucked away somewhere. Uh, your child has talk of harming themselves, or you just have questions about any of that. 988. You can just call to ask questions, or if you're in trouble or your child's in trouble. There are so many resources, and I hope you never have to use them, ever. We have 2,300 American children running away, disappearing every day. Now, people will always, that standard argument, well, a lot of those are runaways and they're returned. Okay, yes, a lot of those are runaways and they're not returned. Okay, so understand that. A lot of them are runaways because they have to get out of horrible, abusive, sexual, or physical situations, and they feel they're better on the streets. What happens when a child's vulnerable? Predators are right there within 24 hours to scoop them up. I see them outside of the Port Authority, right here in Hell's Kitchen in New York, standing against the walls. I can pick them out. They see a kid get off a bus, walking by with a backpack. They know. Approaching that child. You need help? You look like you're lost. Usually starts like that. Oh, yeah, I'm looking to get something to eat. Oh, I know a great place around the corner. You can get a hamburger for $1. Oh, yeah, really? Okay. I'll show you. I'll walk you there. Okay. Very simple scenarios like that where the child becomes entrapped. And they don't keep them in New York. The thing they do now with all of this enslavement is they're moving everybody around from place to place. So you may be somewhere for 24, 48 hours, then you're moved in a car or a truck to constantly confuse you. And most of the time you're given drugs, alcohol to further confuse you. So we have to talk to our kids and be real and talk about these issues. You must talk to your children. You must get involved in their school. You don't drop them off and pick them up or let the bus drop them at home. You must be an active part. You must say to them, make sure they know if anybody bothers them online, because we have a lot of sextortion, a lot of bullying, a lot of that. People do it to me. People write to me and say horrible things to me. That they can come to you and you will reassure them and tell them it's okay. And also online, it cannot be an open forum. Remember, it is like opening the front door to your house and not locking it and welcoming the world in. That is the internet. And we lock our front doors, most of us. So you must figure out how to lock things down appropriately in your own home. Let's see if I missed anything. Fred, thank you very much for the memberships. Let's see. We have Gracie. We have Edie. I think with that, I'm going to let you go. But Leslie's right. You gave me something to think about because they will try to get to our kids any way they can, even through music. Well, that's why my five, I don't think I explained that the right way, the five cultural things to think about right now. Not like you don't have enough to think about, right? But it's not, there is a war on for our children. Every angle, the kids are being approached. It is the music. It is the streaming shows. It is the gaming. It is in the classroom. It is through these algorithms. It's through social media. It's all around them. So just be aware, talk to your kids, and think about things. Think about how you want it to be in your household. Don't let the predators rule the roost. Don't let our government tell you what to do. You have parental autonomy. Take care of your kids. So with that, we're going to sign off. I thank all of you. Let's hope we don't have a government shutdown. Let's hope we can keep our services going for our people, our kids who need food, who need shelter, who need medical care, okay? And let's honor our warriors hashtag, everybody, which is community creates change. And you know the rallying cry of the warriors. Oh, one thing, make sure you sign up for the newsletter. Go to linswarriors.org. I will resend that tomorrow, all about COSA, Kids Online Safety Act. And hug each other, hug your children. And with that, signing off, have a great day, evening, morning, wherever you are. And thank you. Thank you for your donations that have been coming in, for your help in volunteering when we do activities, and for just being here and sharing our information. Now, go out and be a warrior. Thanks, everybody.